Imagine stepping off a ship after 3 agonizing years away. You push through the dense coastal forest, fully expecting to see smoke rising from the chimneys. You expect to hear the sounds of your family, your friends, your settlement. But instead, you find nothing but complete and utter silence. 115 people, men, women, and children, have vanished entirely into thin air. No bodies, no graves, no signs of a struggle, just empty, dismantled structures and a dark, quiet forest staring back at you.
Welcome to History Forensic. I'm your co-host Sarah, and I'm here with Mark. Today, we are bringing you an explainer on a 400-year-old missing persons file that continues to defy modern science, the Roanoke cult case.
The stakes in this explainer couldn't be higher, Sarah, because if an entire community can disappear without a single trace, it forces us to ask a terrifying question. What other dark secrets has history simply swallowed whole?
Let's start with the foundation of this case, 115. That is not just a statistic in a history book. That represents 115 beating hearts.
Exactly. We need to set the scene carefully here. Slow down and really understand the reality of their situation. Imagine stepping onto the wild, untamed shores of your new home in the late 16th century. This was the absolute edge of the known world for these English settlers. They were separated from everything they knew by a massive ocean.
Right, they were completely isolated. They were vastly outnumbered by the wilderness itself and entirely dependent on one another just to survive those brutal winter months. They built homes, they established families, and they tried to carve out a permanent life in the new world. It really was the calm before a terrifying storm.
It was. They were setting up the board, completely unaware that the game was about to be flipped upside down.
Which brings us to section 1 of our explainer, the eerie, completely baffling 1590 crime scene.
So, let's look at Governor John White. He finally returns to Roanoke Island, located off the coast of modern-day North Carolina, in August of 1590. He drops anchor, expecting to find his thriving colony and reunite with his family.
But what happened next shocked everyone. He didn't find a colony at all. He walked straight into a ghost town. The air was totally dead. The settlement was heavily overgrown with local weeds.
There wasn't a single soul on the beach to greet his ship. Imagine the sheer, suffocating panic he must have felt. He's sprinting from structure to structure, literally screaming the names of his daughter and his newborn granddaughter, Virginia Dare.
And all he gets back is the hollow echo of the Atlantic wind. The settlement was completely abandoned.
The forensic facts at this scene are just startling. The entire colony vanished, but here is the massive paradox we have to wrestle with. There was zero signs of a struggle.
None. No blood, no burned buildings, no broken weapons scattered in the dirt.
Even more baffling, there were no bodies and no graves found anywhere. Think about that for a second. If a deadly disease had swept through the camp, there would be graves, right?
Absolutely.
And if there had been a sudden massacre, there would be bodies and chaos. But that's not the full story. Instead, investigators found something truly chilling. The houses had been neatly dismantled.
Neatly dismantled?
That takes serious time. It takes organization and calm execution. It means they weren't running blindly into the woods in a panic. They packed up intentionally. They literally took down their homes piece by piece before everyone, including White's own wife and granddaughter, disappeared into the wild.
To understand how they got to that desperate point, we move to Section 2, the 1587 settlement and the catastrophic 3-year delay.
This agonizing 3-year delay forms the crucial turning point of our whole story. Let's look at the timeline. Back in 1587, those 115 English settlers arrive and establish the colony. It's a hopeful beginning, but extremely difficult. Supplies very quickly dwindle. So later that same year, Governor White makes the gut-wrenching decision to leave his family and sail back to England for desperately needed supplies.
He promises a quick supply run.
He's supposed to be right back, and then everything changed.
While he's in Europe, a massive geopolitical conflict breaks out, the Anglo-Spanish War in 1588. Every available ship in England is commandeered by the Crown to fight the incoming Spanish Armada.
White is effectively trapped. Imagine him pacing the docks of England for 3 agonizing years, knowing his family is isolated, starving, and waiting across the ocean. Every day must have felt like a lifetime. It isn't until August 1590 that he finally breaks free and returns, only to find them all gone.
That haunting reality leads us to Section 3. After 3 years of total isolation, we have to examine the only physical evidence, the only remaining clues they actually left behind.
As White desperately scoured the perimeter of the dismantled fort, looking for any sign of life, the most glaring piece of evidence presented itself. It was a single, cryptic word carved deeply into a wooden fence post: CROATOAN.
Just let that sink in for a moment. CROATOAN.
It was the name of a nearby island and also the name of the friendly indigenous tribe that lived there. Was it a forwarding address? Was it a warning?
Imagine the chill running down White's spine as his fingers traced those deep letters in the wood. It was the ultimate breadcrumb, deliberately left behind for him to find.
But that wasn't the only message. Nearby, White uncovered a second clue: the letters CRO carved directly into the trunk of a tree.
It looks exactly as if whoever was carving it was suddenly interrupted, or maybe they simply ran out of time before they could finish the word, which adds this incredible layer of suspense to the scene.
Right. 2 silent messages permanently scarred into the wood, standing as the only witnesses to whatever massive event swallowed 115 people whole.
But to truly understand the depth of this mystery, we have to look at what wasn't there. Here's what most people never hear about: the absence of a Maltese cross.
This is arguably the most baffling clue of the entire case, and it completely changes the narrative. Before White left for England in 1587, he and the settlers agreed upon a strict, pre-arranged distress signal.
If they were ever forced to leave the settlement due to danger, an attack, or extreme duress, they were ordered to carve a Maltese cross into a tree right alongside their destination. It was essentially their 16th century panic button. But as White frantically searched every tree, every post, every remaining piece of timber on that island, there was absolutely no cross to be found.
The expectation was so clear: a carved Maltese cross to signal immediate danger or an attack. The reality? No cross was found anywhere on the island. And this is where it gets really dark, because it completely reframes everything we thought we knew about their final days.
115 people were gone without a trace. Yet the absolute lack of this cross strongly suggests they weren't forced out by violence.
Exactly, Sarah. If you are under attack by an enemy, you don't neatly take apart your houses, pack up your heavy belongings, and forget to carve your distress signal. They left on their own terms. But why? What could possibly drive an entire colony to pack up and walk off the map?
That massive question brings us to Section 4, the modern forensics, the theories, and the dead ends.
This crucial lack of evidence leaves us with 3 main forensic theories. Theory 1, starvation led to a fatal attempt to sail back to England.
Imagine the sheer desperation of watching the horizon for 3 years, slowly realizing help isn't coming and finally risking the unforgiving Atlantic in small, inadequate boats, only to die at sea.
Theory 2, the colonists were attacked and massacred by local tribes. Even without the Maltese cross or physical bodies, some believe the vast wilderness simply consumed the evidence of a brutal end.
I have to push back on that, Mark. Like we said, the neat dismantling of the camp just doesn't fit a frantic massacre. That leads us to Theory 3. The settlers peacefully assimilated into the friendly CROATOAN tribe.
Facing extreme starvation, they logically dismantled their homes, packed up their lives, and walked into the forest to join their indigenous neighbors just to survive. These weren't just historical figures in a textbook. These were real families, mothers and fathers, making unthinkable, life-altering choices. When supply chains snap and total isolation sets in, human beings will do whatever it takes to survive.
And yet, even with all our incredible technology, modern forensics have yielded no definitive proof whatsoever. We've conducted extensive, high-tech archaeological digs across Roanoke and all the neighboring islands. We've even run advanced DNA testing on modern local populations, desperately looking for any genetic markers of those original English settlers blending with the indigenous tribes. But the official cold case file remains completely empty of a definitive answer. Think about the magnitude of that for a second, and why this history still matters so much today. In an era where we can track a single atom and pull data from thin air, the ultimate fate of the Lost Colony of Roanoke remains completely and utterly buried in the fog of time.
It ties perfectly back to our opening paradox. How can 115 human beings just vanish? It remains the loudest, most haunting silence in American history.
Which leaves us with a final, chilling revelation. We always assume history is permanent. We assume that human footprints will always leave a lasting mark for us to find. But if an entire community can simply evaporate, leaving nothing behind but 2 carved words in the wood, how much of what we think is solid history is just waiting to vanish into the darkness? Let us know how you liked the story in the comments, and if this kept you up tonight, you already know what to do. Subscribe to History Forensic. We'll see you in the next case.